Last session, you stepped onto the blistering chessboard of Al-Kirat, the tiefling-ruled city where Asmodean law weighs every deed and contract. Salah Kamara, precise and pious servant of Kor, and Salahaddin Ebn al-Fahad, his ironclad companion, had crossed by sea to chase a rumor older than empires. The Holy Scrolls of Kor, buried by a sandstorm centuries ago, and now may be uncovered by the same. Farid, a young noble touring the world to season his name, found familiar faces in the bazaar. Ombra, a blade-bound warlock with a steady hand for beasts, and Avourel, a quick-eyed rover, rounded the company. You learned the rules that matter. Slavery exists, but demands care of the enslaved. Salt water flows through the city, but never fresh. In the wastes, failing to drink is a death sentence, and magic misbehaves. Conjured water crumbles to sand, safe havens refuse to endure. Still, the talk of ruins was too loud to ignore, and you signed on as paid guards to a caravan of 100 souls and 35 camels. The deal, a silver a day, food, water, and canvas. At dusk, as you set perimeter, jackal cries threaded the wind. Not jackals, warned a tiefling guard called Mo, touching his nose. Jackal wares. By midday you funneled into a ruined canyon. The ground trembled. Skeletal gnolls erupted from the sand in front and along the slopes, bows and rusted shortswords drawn. At the rear, human cultists, stamped with triangular eye sigils and bearing sickles, fell upon the unarmed cooks and camel handlers. Arrows thudded. A handler folded with a shaft through his face. A camel screamed, wild with pain. Salah Kamara's crisp invocation steadied your strikes. Farid met the first skeleton in a whirl, then reversed his spear to batter bone. Salahaddin plunged in, earthbreaker roaring, smashing rib cages to chalk. Avourel's arrow, loosed from so far it should have missed, rang true through a skull. Ombra split one apart with crackling force, and then, with a murmured endearment, seized a bolting camel and guided it back into the lee of a rock. The melee turned. You saw the skeletons shatter under hammers and hafts. Learned slashes bite, but piercing attacks are poor on bone, and cut down the cultists. One wore a cheap bronze necklace etched with that same unblinking eye. As you reformed, news from the front arrived like a stone to the gut. Harpies had swept down, seized the principal guide and others, and vanished over the canyon lip. You moved to tend the dead, and the desert taught its final lesson. The blood sands feed. Blood soaked downward, flesh followed, and the locals hissed warning, deny the sand, and the curse will take you. With water barrels split, beasts lamed, and your wayfinder gone, the caravan master chose survival over pride. You herded the shaken line back through the freezing night to Al-Kirat, and were paid your silver. At the gate, a messenger intercepted you with the words that close one door and open another. The Sultana requires your presence at first light. The harpies airy, the eye-marked cult, and the buried ruin still wait, but now the city itself has turned its gaze upon you.